language?
I'm not sure. Mr. Jordan is on. He will be able to answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure. Mr. Jordan is on. He will be able to answer that question.
So
Okay,
I'm still waiting on the translation station to find someone, but they're working on it. Good afternoon, everyone. Judge Law is going to start the calendar around 2:10. She's still working on her civil case. So she says she'll be about 5 to 10 minutes late.
Mr. Jordan, we ready for, to be put in the breakout?
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. It's Keith Cook. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ready for Carcamo. That looks like Miss Lee, I'm guessing.
Do you need my interpretation?
That would be Mr. McLean.
Okay. He's on.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Long, and we're going to begin with our expedited accusation calendar, which is for today, October 4th at 2 p.m. Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. This is a calendar for misdemeanor criminal cases in which individuals were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. After being booked, their cases were formally accused by the prosecutor, who is the Solicitor General of Fulton County. Hence, this would be the defendant's initial appearance before a judicial officer. I will let you know what is your new case number, what are the charges brought against you, to appoint counsel for you if required, and to also set a bond. For some of you who receive a signature bond, you would not have to pay for the bond today, but you would have to comply with certain conditions. Others who do not qualify for a signature bond would have to pay for the bond either out of a bonding company or out of your own pocket in order to secure release. For those who do not receive a signature bond, you will receive a new court date, and that's going to be October 17th, 2024. Is that correct, Mr. Jordan?
It's Ms. Strong, and yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
Ms. Strong, yes, okay, thank you. For those of you who have been charged with a misdemeanor offense or offenses, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Courtroom 2, who do we have first, please?
Your Honor, this is going to be position number 5. Ms. Harris.
This is State versus Adira Harris, accused of battery, family violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree from September 3rd, 2024. Ms. Harris, your accusation is 24 CR 6846A. The charges are battery, family violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree. Any priors, Mr. Howard? Oh, Ms. Gordon?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes.
The defendant has 2 cycles beginning in 2022. Last arrest was December of 27th of 2023 from Clayton County for DUI, hit and run, duty of driver to stop or at return to scene of accident. That case in Clayton County is open. There's also a case on judicial hold with Judge Adams for aggravated assault, case number 24 SC 000580. There's a warrant from Jonesboro, Georgia for a public peace case. Date of the warrant, September 11th of this year. Charges today are restricted. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Pierre Thomas, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place on September 3rd, 2024 at the location of 4900 Delano, Delano Road, Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. The allegation is essentially that she struck the victim, Darius, Darrius, Willis, Willis, causing visible bodily harm. That visible bodily harm was scratches above his lip and several pieces of lost locks. Unfortunately, our office was not able to get in contact with the victim in this case. So if we could sound firm in accordance with Marcy's letter, that'd be greatly appreciated. But the recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, and a stay away from that incident location, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
All right. Mr. Darius Willis, if you're on Zoom, please unmute and start your video if you want to add anything to this proceeding. All right. Mr. Cook?
It's me, Your Honor. Good
Sorry,
afternoon.
Ms. McLeod, sorry about that. Yes.
Yes, we are okay with the state's recommendation for bond for my client. The parties do share 2 minor children, Your Honor, so we would ask that the bond be conditioned on no further violent contact. They do not live together, but they do share a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Did you mention an amount, Mr. Thomas, or just signature bond?
Just signature bond through the pretrial services, Your Honor. And I'd just like to put on the record that the indicia for the cruelty to children in the 3rd is that the juvenile was in the victim's hand at the time that he was being struck.
Okay, Ms. Adira Harris, on the battery family violence is going to be $2,500. On the cruelty in 3rd degree is going to be $1,500. The total bond is going to be $4,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, level 3. You have to report to pretrial once a month. While you are released on a pretrial bond, you will enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 45 days of being released, and you must attend all 26 weeks of classes at your expense. You're also to attend and complete 1 parenting class, and you are to attend and complete that class within 60 days from being released. Your next court date will be sent to your current mailing address. You're to have no violent contact with Darius Willis, and I will allow for 3rd-party transfer of the child that you share with him. Thank you.
Children, Your Honor.
Oh,
Thank
children.
you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. McLeod.
Ms.
I'm
McLeod-
sorry I
Ms.
made you
McLeod,
wait.
She has a question. She has a question.
Yes, Ms.
Yes.
Harris?
I'm not familiar with the bond and stuff, so I would have to pay a cash bond and give a signature.
Don't pay nothing.
Okay,
No, it's a signature bond.
okay. Thank you so much.
All right, best of luck.
You have a good one.
You too. All right, thank you, Ms. McLeod. Enjoy your weekend.
Same to you, Your Honor.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 2, Mr. Lorenzo Bradley.
This is State versus Lorenzo Bradley, case 24 CR 6853F, accused of theft by taking and loitering and prowling from August 26th of this year. Mr. Bradley, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Would that be correct? Okay. And Mr. Bradley, your case number is 24 CR 6853F. Ms. Gordon, any priors?
Your Honor, the defendant has 66 cycles beginning in 2001 with multi-state interaction from the state of Pennsylvania. Last arrest was April 11th of this year from Fulton County on a probation of violation. The underlying charge was not listed. Record does indicate probation in Fulton County for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, case 21 SC 177656. Disposition date of July 7th of 2021 with 1 year confinement, 4 years probation. A second probation case, Fulton County, for possession of cocaine, 09 SC 85101. Disposition date was November 13th of 2009. A sentence of 30 years with 1 year confinement, 29 years probation. A 2018 misdemeanor conviction for possession and use of drug-related objects, 2019 misdemeanor conviction for possession of marijuana less than an ounce.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Appreciate it. Mr. Pierre Thomas, what's your recommendation?
Sorry, the recommendation is an $8,500 surety bond, Your Honor. The indicia for that is we actually tried to send this up to the DA's office, but we have not heard an answer back. It is our belief that the cases alone themselves are a felony, but then there's also a common scheme, and they're a felony because of two underlying theft convictions, but there's a common scheme where the individual enters onto various locations from the Georgia Tech campus and steals scooters, whether it be electronic or not. And so we're still waiting to hear back from that, but at this time, we'd be requesting at this time, we'd be requesting $8,500, and the breakdown is $2,000 on each theft by taking for a total of 3 theft by taking charges. And I'm not sure if I see the others on the calendar, but there are at least 2 more theft by taking charges in another case that he's charged with, another loitering and prowling charge, and a criminal trespass charge. But it would be $2,000 on each theft by taking, $1,000 on each loitering and prowling, and $500 on the criminal trespass. And I can list the victims if necessary, and if we can sound for them in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, Your Honor.
All right. Do we have an add-on calendar with these additional charges? Because I have only one case for Lorenzo Bradley with 1 count of theft by taking and 1 loitering and prowling.
That's what I have as well, Judge.
That's what I have to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if y'all had planned to add, those have not been added or those have not come down yet.
They were on the pull sheet. So the 2 additional theft by takings, the loitering and prowling, and the criminal trespass was on the pull sheet. So unfortunately, for whatever reason, these were separated into 2 separate cases. I guess assuming because one was August 26, 2024, the other is August 29, 2024. And I just like to put on the record that the felony case is from September 29, 2024 for the same type of behavior. So it's only 1 month apart.
Mm.
But they dropped the loitering and prowling. Yes.
And they're all in the jailing screen, Your Honor.
Yeah, I do see it. I do see the charges. I just don't see them in this accusation.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we just need a add-on calendar.
Yes, we do need, if you plan to add these cases on.
Yeah, they've already been filed down, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Thomas, he said he went to felony court yesterday for.
Yeah.
He went for the felony charges. So yes, because these all look the same, but the felonies are associated with the September 29th, 2024 incident date. These 2 separate cases are for August 26th and August 29th. So they're all essentially the same type of behavior, again, which is stealing those electronic scooters from Georgia Tech students. But that's a separate case because he allegedly had the tools associated with the felony.
Do we know the bond on the felony? Did he get a bond?
Yes, he got 15,000 from what I'm seeing, and
15,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so on this present case, which I have under accusation 24 CR 006 853F, I have one count of theft by taking from August 26 and one count of loitering prowling. On the theft by taking is going to be 2,500 and the loitering and prowling is going to be 1,000. Total bond is 3,500. This is a surety bond to stay away from the Georgia Tech property and have no contact with Sunit Tuma, T-U-M-M-A. Is there a Sunit Tuma on Zoom? No?
I
Okay.
said my argument would have changed her. You didn't hear from me, but
Oh, I thought I did. I'm so sorry. I
no,
thought you were asking about
I don't.
that.
I don't really have anything else to add.
Okay,
I've only got the two as well, and he's got bigger fish to fry in felony court, so I don't
all
really.
right. I'm sorry, Mr. Cook. I thought you were
No.
asking
I
about the
just
bond.
kind of bumped in there.
Okay. So this case is going to be reset to October 17. Mr. Bradley, I understand that the prosecutors are going to be adding more state cases with additional counts of theft by taking. So definitely we'll have to keep him in the courtroom once we get those cases and their accusation numbers.
And again, Your Honor, the answer was not given by the DA's office. I suspect that they will be accepting it at some point.
All right, I just need the new accusations if you plan to have a bond on these other theft by taking. Otherwise, they could be null pros or Riverside.
Oh yeah, they've already been submitted.
Oh,
What was
Yeah,
the
what-
breakdown again?
theft by taking 2,500, loitering and prowling 1,000, surety.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
Your Honor, we're keeping Mr. Bradley in the courtroom for now?
Yes, because I think he has one more or two more cases coming down the pipeline.
Okay, just go sit in the back. You gotta come back. Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 3, Mr. Adam Breland.
We have Adam Paul Breland, Breeland, accusation 24 CR 6851A. Mr. Breland's been accused of simple battery family violence from December 10, 2022. Mr. Breland, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any priors, please?
The defendant has 2 cycles beginning in 2009 with multi-state interaction from the state of Alabama. Last arrest was September 29th of this year, driving while license suspended or revoked. That was from Decatur, Georgia. Also, possession of marijuana less than an ounce. That case is open. Nothing further to add, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon.
Your Honor, essentially, the allegations in this case is that the defendant pushed, shoved, grabbed, pulled, and choked the alleged victim in this case, the alleged victim being Holly Lubar, Hollyluber. That's said to have taken place on December 10, 2022 at the location of 299 North Highland Avenue Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia. Your Honor, and the indicia for the family violence is that they would have been married for 2 years. Your Honor, given the age of the case, the state will request a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. No further, as we have not heard from the victim yet, if we could sign for her in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated. And no further contact with the victim, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Your Honor. And the completion of a family violence intervention course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
Holly Luber, Luber. If you want to contribute, this is the time to start your video and unmute. All right, Mr. Cook, it's going to be a $2,000 signature
Hey,
bond.
I'm here. It's Holly.
Your
Yeah,
video on, please.
I don't know how to do all this. Hold on, I'm trying. I'm so sorry.
While you're trying, Ms. Luber,
Yes.
all right, turn the video around so we don't see the bed.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Hi.
Ms. Luber, please raise your right hand.
Oh my gosh. Can you see me?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Do you have any concern about contact with Mr. Breland?
No, I do not.
All right, and all right, that's all I needed to know. Thank you. Mr.
Okay.
Cook, I was going to do a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. He just needs to report to pretrial once a month. do one anger awareness class, and no further violent contact with Holly Luber.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Breland, you will get a signature bond through pretrial. Thank you. Next case, please.
Position number 4, Cameron Edwards.
Cameron Edwards is position number 4, case number 24 CR 006848E, accused of battery, family violence, cruelty in the third degree, 2 count, from October 3rd, 2024. Mr. Edwards, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Any priors, Ms. Gordon?
Your Honor, the defendant has 5 cycles beginning in 2023. Last arrest was September 16th of this year out of Fulton County for criminal trespass. That case was not on the docket September 17th of this year. There are 2 open cases in DeKalb County. The first is for battery, simple battery, disorderly conduct, reckless conduct, and criminal trespass. The second open case is for battery. There's also an open case with an arrest date of December 23 of 2023 out of Forsyth County, willful obstruction of law enforcement officer, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, possession and use of drug-related objects. In closing, there's a warrant out of Cumming, Georgia for an FTA, date of the warrant October 1st of this year. Nothing further.
Your Honor, brief facts of this case is that the officers on October 3rd, 2024, the officers responded to 3407 Spring Creek Lane here in Fulton County, Georgia, in Sandy Springs, in regards to a domestic dispute. The victim, Genesis Gonzalez, stated that she had been in an argument, at which point the defendant forcefully grabbed her, leaving fingernail marks on her neck. The defendant and the victim are what's listed as boyfriend and girlfriend and live at that location. There were 2 juveniles present. The juveniles were actually able to give statements, and statements that were consistent with the victim's testimony or statements. The juveniles' initials are TG and MG. Your Honor, given the nature of the charges, the presence of the 2 violence-based open cases out of DeKalb, the request from the state is a $3,500 surety bond. And if we could sound for the adult victim, Genesis Gonzalez, in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated. The conditions that the state is requesting is no further contact with either victim, Genesis Gonzalez, TG, or MG, stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and the completion of a family violence intervention program, Your Honor. Nothing further to add from the state.
Ms. Genesis Gonzalez?
I'm here.
All right, and would you like to add to the proceedings?
Yes, we live together and we share a child as well. I'm sorry.
Well, that's good, but would you solemnly swear, the other right hand? Your other right, do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, so this incident occurred recently, October 3rd.
Yes.
And what would you like to tell me?
That we live together and we share a child as well as work together, so we wouldn't be able to have no contact. I would just prefer no violent contact.
Well, no, I can do no contact. It's very easy.
I just said that I would prefer if we could do no violent contact, if that's okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, it was just because we live together and we also work together and share a child as well.
And now, Your Honor, if we can ask, are you the victim in either of the DeKalb cases?
No.
How long have you been living together?
Like 2 years, 2.5, around there. Maybe a few months before I was pregnant with my daughter. My daughter's 1.5.
Your Honor, may I inquire?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Cook. I'm just trying to figure out where were the
Sure.
alleged minors during this incident. Go ahead.
Ms. Gonzalez, you say you work there. Do you work at Popeyes? Is that
Yeah. He's
okay?
the general manager of
He's
the
the general manager and you work at that location?
Yes, I'm a regular manager.
Okay, okay. Right.
My concern is Mr. Cameron's other open cases. And the fact that he's also got a Forsyth County hold with respect to these matters. And he's got other matters involving violence as well. I'm afraid I won't be able to allow for contact at this time. Anything else to add, Mr. Cook?
I'm sorry. Yes, I mean, that will, that really throws a wrench in. He's the general manager at Popeyes and she works, I gather, at the same location.
Yeah, we do. We both work at McFarland Parkway.
That would be a problem, yeah.
And we also live together and both our names are on the lease as well.
He's not going to be returning to Spring Creek Lane. Anything else, Mr. Cook?
Just any guidance on the employment situation?
Yeah, am I supposed to find a new job?
No, ma'am, you can go back to work.
He's my boss.
He cannot return to the location if you're there.
He's the boss of the job. Like he's my boss. So I don't know how that
He
would
cannot return to the location if you are there.
I understand. I was just asking that it just seems like I should find a new job because he's
You
the
can
boss.
go, you don't need to lose your employment. He's the one who is charged with the crime. You are not.
I understand.
Okay. Mr. Cook, anything else to add?
Nothing other than he's gainfully employed as a general manager at Popeyes. You've heard from the alleged victim. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. I have heard from the alleged victim and I do understand her predicament, but that doesn't mitigate the fact that based on the allegation set forth in the warrant, that there was actually a crime of domestic violence that occurred. And I have to take that into consideration, even though if the alleged victim and the alleged perpetrator live together, work together, or both. On the battery charges is going to be 3,500. On each count of the cruelty is going to be 1,500. The total bond is going to be 6,500. That is a surety bond. No further contact with Ms. Genesis Gonzalez. No contact with TG and MG. If Mr. Edwards wishes to have contact with the minor children in question, he would need to file a legitimation action. If he does make bond from Fulton County, he can only be released to the Forsyth County hold. So, Mr. Edwards, you do have other open pending cases that you have to address in addition to this. No further contact with Genesis Gonzalez means you have to stay 200 yards away from her. You cannot communicate with her in any way, form, or manner, including any calls from the jail. You have to make sure that wherever she's physically located, you are to stay 200 yards away from that location. And that if that means a change of employment for you, Mr. Edwards, then that's an unfortunate collateral issue with regards to this criminal case against you. Thank you. Your next court date is going to be October 17th.
Your Honor, what was that breakdown again?
3,500 and 1,500 on each count of cruelty.
Okay. Thank you. And that's a surety bond?
Yes, sir. With a release to the Forsyth County hold only.
Thank you. One charge of both. Yeah. No, we got two. They added cruelty. Yeah. Go to the third row. Y'all, you can go to ACDC.
Hi, Judge Law, may I interject?
Yes, sir, Ms. McLean.
I finished with Miss Lee, last name L.I., and I'm going to sign a waiver on her behalf. My understanding is that there's already a bond of either something like 1,000 per account or something like that. A person is already in the process of getting to Atlanta to make her bond.
You're talking
and so
about
she
Yanni?
wishes to wait. Yes.
Okay. And if her bond is being posted, then she can waive first appearance if that's what she wants to do. And I can keep the same bond. Her next court date she's got a total of a $10,000 surety bond,
Right.
$5,000 on each count. And she's, hang on just
Gotcha.
1 second. And the bond order is going to state that she's to stay away from the incident location, which is 1050 Hammond Drive in Atlanta, Georgia.
OK，法官给的
Yes,
是
Your
重新再
Honor.
重复一次，是上一次的 apologize attorney。Yeah, Your Honor, I cannot continue, right?
Oh, yes, Mr. Cho, I'm sorry. I
Thank
was
you.
looking at the facts and I forgot there was an interpreter. I do apologize.
Apologize, thank you, Your Honor。那法官继续讲到，上次所给你的2个控诉啊，各是5000块钱啊，总共是1万块。你找保释公司，当然你的事情，这个刚才讲过的，所以你的还要 stay away，不能在这个叫做1050的 Hammond Drive 的这个地址啊，要离开这个地址远一点啊。只是目前的保释的情况是这个样子的。
Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. McLean?
her correct mail address is as shown on the booking sheet, also known. It would be helpful to add apartment 4C to that address.
Mr. Cho?
啊，这个是正面上面写的，我们的公寓是4C啊，应该请法官帮我们加上去。
Ms. Casey Strong, please note that the address for the defendant, Yan Lee, on position 8 has to be updated with her apartment number.
Hey, I'm sorry, because what was the apartment number? And can we start over with what you addressed the bond as completely? Because I didn't know we were addressing this. I didn't know if she was getting out or if I'm sorry, I'm confused completely.
有点
No
搞混了啊！我一开始是，yeah.
Mr. Cho, we'll start from the top, okay?
Sure, thank you.
Mr. McLean, what was that apartment number?
4C.
4C as in cat?
Yes.
Okay. This is case 24CR006844A, position 8 on the calendar.
啊，这是今天的案子，是案号是24CR006844A。
State versus Yan Lee.
啊，州政府呢来告这个李岩。
Miss Lee is charged with 2 misdemeanor offenses, which I'm not going to sound out.
啊，李女士呢，她有2个犯罪的一个可能性啊，当然我现在不把这2个罪把它叫出来讲出来。
Miss Lee, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you.
啊，李女士啊，你今天有权利来保持沉默啊，任何你说的话呢如果讲的不利于你的话，到时候以后在程序上呢会对你不利的。
You have a right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, one would be appointed to represent you.
你也有权利来找律师啊，如果你没有钱足够来付律师费，我们可以来指派一个公派律师给你的。
Your current appointed counsel, Mr. McLean, has announced that someone is posting your bond.
那今天呢在场的你的目前今天在代理你的一个辩护律师McClellan 先生已经说了你有人今天来帮你保释出去。
So therefore, your case, you're going to be released on that bond, and your case is going to be further noticed for trial.
因此呢我们就照原来的那个保释的方式，刚才所宣布到的就给你了我们到时候下一次再出庭的日期，到时候再跟你宣布。
Can we confirm that you have a New York address?
我们再次的来确认一下，你的地址是在纽约的。 She only nod. I cannot hear her.
You need to, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, 你的住址，你地址是在纽约的地址，是不是啊？
对，是。
That's correct.
All right, Miss Strong, the address that's on Odyssey, we would need to add apartment 4C, C as in cat.
Yes, ma'am, it's been done.
好的，我们已经加上去需要来更改加上一个第4个公寓4个 C。
If you change your address, you would need to inform the clerk's office in writing of your change of address.
如果你有任何更改地址，你一定要来写信到我们的书记办公室，用书写的方式来说你改的地址，让我们知道。
We will send you notice of when to come back to court for trial.
因此，我们可以用这个地址可以用这个地址来通告你说什么时候法庭开庭，那就不会缺席。
Okay.
OK，
Your bond on each count is $5,000 as indicated on the jailing screen.
那今天你也看到在荧屏上面就看到了，每一个对你的控诉呢，指控都是5000块钱的保释金，
So your total bond is a $10,000 surety.
所以总共呢保释金呢是总共是就是1万块钱的押金，1万块。
And you are to stay away from 1050 Hammond Drive in Atlanta, Georgia.
另外一个条件呢，你必须要来离开那个1050Hammond Drive 乔治亚州的这个特兰大的这个地址，你要离开那个地方。
Did you have any questions?
你有任何问题没有啊？
没有，谢谢。
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Right. Mr.
And
McLean?
I'll interject that she correctly estimated about how much it would cost for the bonding company to make her bond.
Okay.
他刚才已经很正确的已经来算出来由保释公司来帮他保释的价钱是1000块。
谢谢。
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cho. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Your Honor. Yeah, thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Your Honor.
You too.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Your Honor, now that Mr. McLean is back, if there's a Spanish interpreter, I need to speak to position 1, Mr. Parcamo.
All right. Ms. Chansey is here and position 1 is in courtroom 1. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
All right. Mr. Jordan, could you place courtroom 1, Ms. Chansey and Keith Cook in a breakout session, please?
And Your Honor, this is going to be position number 15, Mr. Thomas, in courtroom 2.
Okay. 15. Okay. We have State versus Aaron Thomas, case 24CR 006-840J, accused of criminal trespass from October 2nd, 2024. Mr. Thomas, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. McLean. Any priors, please?
Your Honor, the defendant has 49 cycles beginning in 2002. Last arrest was August 12th of this year from Fulton County on a failure to appear. The underlying charge was not listed. Record indicates 3 misdemeanor convictions for criminal trespass, 2015 Fulton County, 2017 Fulton County, 2018 Fulton County. Nothing further to add.
Ms. Tucker, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This bond is currently set at a $5,000 surety bond. I would ask that the bond remain as set, and if you are going to lower it, absolutely no less than $2,500 good bond. I'm basing that on his history. I just looked at the past 2 years, 2024 and 2023. I saw 3 FTAs, 5 arrests for criminal trespass, as well as an arrest for simple assault. So based on the risk of reoffense, as well as the risk of not appearing, we're going to ask the bond stays set at $5,000 surety, if not, no less than $2,500 surety, as well as to stay away from MARTA.
Okay, so I was going to ask you that. Is this a stay away from the MARTA at 5 points?
Yes.
Your Honor, this was not at MARTA property.
Well, the warrant says remained on Broad and Alabama Street after being told to disperse the area near the MARTA bus stop.
Right,
So
MARTA bus stops practically every block on most city streets.
Said accused was told to leave the area by Officer Tucker, loitering near the MARTA stops on Broad and Alabama Street, and refused to disperse from the area and continued to remain on the property. All right, I understand. I understand what you're saying, Ms. McLean. So Ms. Tucker is asking for 2,500, 5,000. What's your argument?
I would argue that a social worker visit might be able to impress upon him the importance of improving performance in the areas that Ms. Tucker has mentioned. I understand why she's making that argument. I get it. but we can talk to him, and that would be the argument for asking for a signature bond or a lower bond.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, your bond is going to be set at 2,000. It is a surety bond. And you have to stay 200 yards away from the location known as Broad Street and Alabama Street, where they intersect. You cannot be within 200 yards of that location, which effectively means that you cannot be anywhere near the 5 Points MARTA station or their bus stops. Next court date is going to be October 17. Thank you.
What I gotta do, Mom?
You've got to pay for your bond either out of your own pocket or go through a bonding company. And bonding companies would charge between $200 to $400 for your bond. And then you are to stay 200 yards away, which is the length of 2 football fields from Alabama and Broad Street.
I gotta pay, you say no?
I'm sorry?
I think we should emphasize that it will probably be at SAP that he will next be dealing with court.
Yeah. And your next court, it will be October 17, 2 weeks from today.
Or gotta pay to go, gotta go to Freeman, gotta pay?
You got to pay to be released. You don't get a signature bond.
Or me not get out, one, go home, go get a homeless man and I go be free now?
Well, you've just got too many
we'll
cases
deal with
on your record, sir. So go ahead, Mr. McLean.
We'll have a social worker speak with you, Mr. Thomas.
Next, Your Honor, is position 14, Ms. Taylor.
I have Theria Danielle Taylor accused of battery from October 10 under accusation 24 CR 6839J. Ms. Taylor, you have, this is an announcement for everyone at ACDC. All of you are here because you were recently arrested and now you've been charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say about the facts of your cases, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Ms. Gordon, any priors on Ms. Taylor?
Your Honor, the defendant has 2 cycles beginning in 2018 with multi-state interaction from the state of Maryland. Last arrest was February the 7th of this year from Snellville, Georgia. Driving while license suspended or revoked, that charge did result in a misdemeanor conviction. Also, there's a misdemeanor conviction from the state of Maryland in 2018 for carrying a handgun. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we would be asking for a $1,500 good bond with the condition no further violent contact with Justin Lenton, as well as to stay away from 3515 Camp Creek Parkway in East Point. The Senate's the bond recommendation is based on the facts of this case. Security at the location actually called the police because they could see a fight going on in the car. Neither party was very cooperative with the police officers, but Justin Lenton had at least a 2-inch gash on his face and a swollen eye. We were able to speak with him, of course. As in many domestic violence situations, he said it was all a misunderstanding. He said the bruises were from a prior incident, and he wants the charges dropped. He wants contact, but considering that an independent party saw this and was concerned enough to call, as well as with the injuries sustained, we are asking for that $1,500 good bond.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider a single bond based on the low number of prior incidents. And one of those incidents was simply a bad license while driving. Your Honor, I read the police report. It did say the male was half the aggressor. I thought it was an interesting phrase. We would ask the court for a signature bond so that she can get back to work. I did not write down where she worked, but we would ask the court to consider that. She is local and she's only 20 years old. We understand she's been to Maryland, but an Atlanta person.
Bond is set at 3,000. It is a signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. No further contact with Justin Lenton, and which means she has to stay 200 yards away from him and not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. She will be subject to random screens by pretrial. If she gets arrested again, or if she fails to appear in court, her bond will be revoked and amended to a cash bond or a surety bond. Thank you. Mr. Cook, are you ready with your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what's your client's name?
Corcabo, position 1.
All right, Ms. Chansey, if you do solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you translate will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
True and accurate translation to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is State versus William Amador Carcamo, charged with loitering and prowling and misdemeanor possession of marijuana.
Este es la Fiscalía en contra de William Amador Cárcamo con cargos de merodeo penal y delito menor de tenencia de marihuana.
Mr. Amador, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. Keith Cook.
Señor Amador, usted tiene el derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que usted elija decir o diga será, puede y será usado en su contra. Usted tiene el derecho a ser representado por un abogado y lo está representando el señor Keith Cook.
Ms. Gordon, any priors on Mr. Amador?
Señor Gordon, ¿hay antecedentes?
Your Honor, the defendant has one cycle, which was his last arrest of January 4th of 2015 from state of Texas.
Su señoría, el acusado ha pasado por ha sido procesado en un ciclo anterior, por la última vez el enero 4 del 2015 en el estado de Texas.
The arrest was by the Customs and Border Patrol for alien removal under Section 212 and Section 237.
El arresto fue debido a la demoración de el sacarlo por un proceso de aduana de acuerdo a la sección 212 y 1237.
No disposition was listed. The recommendation was UJR jail, nothing further.
Thank you.
Y no hubo ninguna decisión en ese caso, y la única recomendación es una libertad sin fianza judicial.
Right, Mr. Cook?
What? I think it's me, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pierre, sorry.
He's been gone so long, we've forgotten about it.
I'm so sorry. Sorry. I didn't want to, I thought I didn't give Mr. Cook a voice last time. Sorry. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the state is inclined to agree with Madam Pretrial. The recommendation is a signature bond through the jail. If I could, I'll stop there for a second.
Go ahead.
Su señoría, la fiscalía está de acuerdo con la Oficina de Servicios Previos al Juicio. Será una fianza bajo firma a través de la cárcel.
The remaining request is no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away.
La otra condición es que se prohíba el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas y mantenerse distanciado.
For the purposes of the stay away, I will give some facts. The defendant was found at the location of 13165.
Para reflejar el propósito de esta sentencia, voy a relatar algunos hechos. El acusado estaba en el 1192. I'm sorry, can you repeat the street address, sir?
Oh, yes, of course.
It's
13165 Freemanville Road, Alpharetta, Georgia.
El acusado estaba en el 13165 de Freeman Road en Alpharetta, Georgia.
Peering into homes and vehicles in driveways.
I didn't understand the verb. I'm sorry.
Peer,
What?
like viewing, looking into.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Y
welcome.
estaba observando a vehículos y residencias en el área.
Two separate residents called to notate the officers.
Y dos propietarios de residencia llamaron para avisar a los oficiales.
Search incident to arrest recovered a homemade device emulating brass knuckles.
Y había sido el tercer incidente que había sido reportado.
Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
De parte de la fiscalía no hay nada en este momento más, nada más.
Mr. Cook, does your client have any reason to return to this location?
No, it's not as far as I know, Your Honor.
¿El acusado tiene algún motivo para regresar a este lugar? No, su señoría, no lo tiene.
Mr. Amador, on the loitering and prowling is $1,000 and the possession of marijuana is $200. It's a total of $1,200 signature bond through the jail.
Señor Amador, su fianza para el primer cargo de merodeo penal es de $1,000 y para el segundo de tenencia de marihuana es $200 con un total de $1,200 de fianza.
You are to stay away from the location identified as 13165 Freemanville Road in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Usted debe mantenerse distanciado de la dirección identificada como 13165 Freeland Way en Alpharetta, Georgia.
And you're not to visit any of the residential neighborhoods unless you know someone there or have business there.
Y usted no puede visitar a ninguno de los vecinos del lugar, a no ser que usted visite a alguien que conozca en esa área.
Your next court date will be sent to your current mailing address. Make sure that we have a current address on you at all times.
La próxima fecha de comparecencia será enviada a su domicilio de residencia. Por favor, asegúrese de actualizar su dirección de residencia con el tribunal.
If you don't appear in court when summoned, a warrant can be issued for your arrest.
Si usted no comparece el día de la fecha esperada, se emitirá una orden de arresto a su nombre.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we have position 16, Ms. Wiry. Wiry.
May the interpreter be dismissed, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Chancy,
Thank
I
you.
just want to confirm, ACDC and courtroom 2, do you need the services of a Spanish interpreter?
Not as ACDC.
Courtroom 2?
No, we just need the Arabic
Oh,
interpreter.
Ms. Chancy, how's your Arabic?
really
No?
bad.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
That's
Chancy.
better than
Have a
not
good
at
one.
all.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Chancy, have a good weekend.
You
Thank you.
too, Your Honor. Thank
I
you.
don't know if one was ordered though, Your Honor.
Who?
An Arabic interpreter. You do need one.
Mr. Jordan, Ms. Strong, any status on an Arabic interpreter?
Judge, I got 3 requests today, but I didn't get one for an Arabic interpreter.
That's not going to be possible today, Mr. Deputy.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right. Donna Berry is accused of simple assault under case 24 CR 6841G. Ms. Wary, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. McLean. Is that correct? Mr. Michael McLean?
This is Miss Wary?
Yeah.
That should be Mr. McLean.
All right, we're just trying to prompt him to chime in. Mr. McLean, Michael McLean? I don't want him to miss out on the announcements.
Your Honor, I think he's in a breakout.
With whom?
Oh, no, there he is.
Back on Zoom.
Let me just be quiet here.
Mr. McLean, are you in courtroom 2 or? All right, I don't know where he is. Mr. Cook, could you text him and let him know we're waiting on him? Oh, there he is. Okay. Mr. McLean, can you hear us?
I'll text him. He seems to be there more or
Okay.
less. But
Sounds like he can hear us. Okay, are you good? Can you hear us? Mr. McLean? Okay. Ms. Gordon, what are the priors on Miss Wary?
The defendant has 19 cycles beginning in 1986 with multi-state interaction from the state of Oklahoma. Last arrest was October 12th of 2022 from Hateville, Georgia for the offense of aggravated assault and criminal trespass. Those charges are open to Judge Dunaway. I'm sorry, Your Honor. The charge that's open to Judge Dunaway of those two is the aggravated assault, case number 24 SC 004350. There's also a misdemeanor conviction from Fulton County in 2019 for the assault offense of a battery. Recommendation was level 3, nothing further.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we are going to be asking for a $5,000 surety bond in this case. That's based on both the history and the facts of this case. You did hear he has 19 total arrests, most of them very violent, 4 aggravated assaults, 2 batteries.
We're addressing Miss Donna Wary at ACDC. Is that who you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, all right, just want to be sure.
As well as we've spoken with the victim, she let us know that her shoulder was actually dislocated from this incident. So we're going to be obtaining medical records and possibly upgrading this for a felony. But this is just an incident between 2 neighbors. It should not have happened. I believe alcohol played a huge factor and unfortunately left our victim, Miss Verna Foster, very injured. I believe Miss Foster is on the Zoom today. If we could sound for her.
Ms. Foster,
Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like to contribute to the proceedings, you would need
Yes.
your video on.
Yes. How do I turned the mute on. I don't know how to do the video.
Well, if you don't know how to, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, I can see you now.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like to raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Right. Ms. Tucker, did you have any questions of her, or would you?
Are you afraid of this defendant?
Yes, I am.
Okay, could you kind of explain the living situation?
Okay. I moved in this residence where I'm at now in April. I'm going through a divorce, and I was at the standing in front of the rent office yesterday. I came down just to tidy up. I like to come and clean sometimes, so I waited for the management to open up, and this lady, I'd never seen her ever in my life, came out, started talking crazy to me, walking up to me. I am licensed to carry, so I got ready to pull my gun out. And then she went and left and went outside. So I still waited inside for the rent office lady to come. And I had contacted her and told her what was going on. And soon as the rent office lady drove up, the defendant, she came in the building and just started attacking me. Me and the rent office lady trying to get her off of me, get her away from me. And I didn't know if I had an injury or not. So I went to the hospital today, and I do have a torn muscle tear on my left arm from trying to kick my hands up so she wouldn't hit me in my face. So I guess I moved some kind of way to where I'm injured.
Right. And do you believe if she returns to that location, you're in danger?
Yes, I do. Like when I left out today, I called the maintenance to see if they could just watch me go to my car this morning. And, and I heard she's had contact with other people here doing the same thing. And they were trying to get her put out, but I guess it's a process because she lives on the first floor and I live on the fifth, but I never ever seen her before. But I'm scared that this just happened to me inside where I live.
So nothing further, Judge Law. We would be asking for a stay away from 1059 Oglethorpe Avenue in Atlanta, and then no further contact as well.
All right. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, my client has an income of only 900 and something a month because of the disability check for her stroke. She hard pressed to be able to move or make a bond with that kind of income. It's barely enough to eat on, and I'm sure that there's rent too. So we would ask the court to take those things into consideration. I believe the police report said that when the police asked her what happened, I believe the police report said she didn't remember. We would have a social worker visit and see if she's getting adequate medical care. And if not, we would try to tune that up and improve it.
Police report also indicated the defendant allegedly being highly intoxicated. My biggest concern is the number of cases that your client has with Fulton County is just aggravated assault, aggravated battery, simple assault. I mean, it's just on the simple assault charge that's presently been brought by Donna Wary against Donna Wary. That's going to be a 2,500 surety bond. No further contact with Miss Verna. Is it Foster?
Yes.
Miss Verna Foster to stay away from 1059 Oglethorpe Avenue in Southwest Atlanta. And her next court date is going to be October 17th. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. Thank you.
Your Honor, she said that she lives there.
I live in that apartment. I've been living there 2 years.
Yeah, I do know that. I do know that, Miss Wary, and as a result of this arrest and this particular incident, you are going to have to leave that location and update the court with a new address. And also, as a result of this arrest, the landlord's probably going to file an eviction case against you. So you would have to make arrangements to find an alternative place to stay, and you would need to update the court with your new address. Thank you.
Judge, was the bond amount 2,500?
2,500 surety.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, is it possible, have a seat with me, please. Is it possible we can go into a breakout with the sign language for Ms. Pritchett, which is position 11?
Who is the attorney for Ms. Pritchett?
Mr. Mike McLean.
All right, Mr.
Yes.
Courtroom.
Your Honor,
who do we have?
Every case I have left in here is Mr. McLean's.
Okay.
Except for one, so.
Can we take that one that's not Mr. McLean's and have him go into, and I'll have him go into a breakout right now.
Okay.
Mr. Jordan, if you could place Mr. McLean, Ms. Gloshanda, and Fulton County ACDC in a breakout, please. Mr. Cook, I think the next case is yours.
Yeah, and he said he needs to speak to Cook again.
Who is this?
Delshawn Jackson.
He'll be speaking to Mr. Cook after we're done.
Yes, I have all the information I need for the hearing.
Mr. Jackson, ready?
He's coming up now, Your Honor.
This is State versus Delshawn Jackson, 24 CR 006838J. Mr. Delshawn is accused of battery, family violence from August 9, 2024. Mr. Jackson, you have the right to remain silent as advised, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Cook. Ms. Gordon, any priors on Mr. Jackson?
Your Honor, the defendant has 12 cycles beginning in 2020. Last arrest was September 25th of this year from Marietta for giving false name, birth date, and address to law enforcement officer. That case in Marietta is open. There's a 2021 misdemeanor conviction out of Clayton County for battery and criminal trespass, a 2023 misdemeanor conviction from Fulton County for battery, several open cases, Your Honor, a 2024 open case in Dunwoody for misdemeanor theft by shoplifting, a open case with Judge Besson. I will waive sounding, Your Honor, 24 CR 000495J. Also a open case for possession of Schedule 1 controlled substance and battery family violence. That case number is 23 CP 217980. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that on August 10, 2024, the officer responded to 215 Red Top Circle in Fairburn, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. The victim advised that her baby's father, who is the defendant, did intentionally cause visible bodily harm to her by using his closed-handed fist to punch her in the left side of her face, causing her face to swell, making her eye unable to open as much, Your Honor. Your Honor, the victim in this case is Angel, Angel Jones. So if we could sound for her in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated. I don't believe my office has had an opportunity to talk to her or to speak with her. The request from the state in this matter, Your Honor, is a $7,500 surety bond. And the reason for that, Your Honor, is the presence of the open battery family violence case, is the numerous other cases that include battery and aggravated assault against not this victim, but the same victim. And as we went through the history as a state, Your Honor, we realized that the matter was escalating, or his propensity to violate in a violent manner was escalating, Your Honor. But the remaining request from the state is a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a no contact, stay away from that incident location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program, Your Honor. There is nothing further to add from the state other than emphasizing the several open cases already.
Okay, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we understand the record. My client's 29 years old. He's no longer living at Red Top Circle. So there would be no problem with a no further contact or stay away. He is not currently working. He has no income. So we would be seeking a bond, as I'm assuming it will be a surety bond. A bond is as low as possible, since anything else would essentially be a no bond. Beyond that, we would object to the FBIP. Nothing further.
On the battery family violence, it's going to be a $5,000 surety bond. No further contact with Angel Jones, and to stay away from 215 Red Top Circle in Fairburn, Georgia, or wherever Miss Jones happens to live.
And if you could sound for Miss Jones, right? I mean,
I'm so sorry. Angel Jones. All right. As I was saying, no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And we're going to reset this case to October 17th, along with this other open case, 24 CR 000495J. Do you have that, Ms. Strong? All right. Ms. Strong, did you get that other case as well?
I'm sorry, Judge.
We're going to reset Mr. Delshawn Jackson's current case.
Oh, the one that I got the case number. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were asking me something else after. I have it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I inquire of courtroom 2 briefly? Just
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Officer Norris, it's That's it for me from your courtroom, as far as you know? Just Keith Cook.
Except for the Lorenzo Bradley, position number 2.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I'm here. Yeah, no problem.
But
Okay, thank you.
I believe we're waiting for the add-on for that,
Oh, yeah, okay, okay. Well, I'm here. I got nowhere to go. Well, actually, I
Okay.
do, but I can't, so there we go.
All right, Mr. Jordan, could you please tell Mr. McLean that we are ready to address his case now?
Your Honor, we got the add-on. Do you want to take care of,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let me, that's what I was just checking on to see if the add-on had come through. And all right, we're going to resume again with Mr. Lorenzo Bradley. Mr. Bradley was originally position number 2. He's got an additional case that's been added to this calendar, 24 CR 006856F. Mr. Bradley, I'd like to remind you that you're still under, you still have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Now, with regards to this new accusation number, the prosecution has added 4 additional misdemeanor charges. 2 counts of theft by taking from August 29, 2024, loitering and prowling, and criminal trespass from August 29, 2024. We've already heard his,
Ma'am,
yes.
may I say something? Okay, when
Mr. Cook needs to be present. Mr. Keith Cook?
it's not.
I'm here, Your Honor. Yeah, I just keep it limited, Mr. Bradley, to the, and
Okay.
okay.
The date in question, the 29th,
Yeah.
been charged for that date twice already. I'm gonna be in charge for that date again.
That's not correct, Your Honor. So it's August 29th and September 29th. The matters happen two times apart. The felony is the September 29th. The August 29th is the case that we're addressing today, in addition to the one we already addressed, which was August 26th.
Which case do you have a duplicate charge for August 29th, Mr. Bradley?
Ma'am?
You said you've already been charged for this case. Which one would that be?
The 29th date. I went to felony first appearance yesterday.
Yes, that was for a September 29th incident.
Exactly.
This new case that the state court had, the one for the state court is for August 29th. Not
And also
September.
note that there are separate victims listed in on those dates as well.
Yeah, and when we just was here, before y'all had mentioned the add-ons, I recall Mr. Thomas saying there's 2 victims on the date of the 29th for August, and I'm being charged with both of them, but there was also another date that's separate, and they have another person charged for that one. I'm really confused at this point.
There's a total of 3 victims in August and a separate victim in September.
Okay.
Shall we proceed?
Go ahead, because it didn't.
All right. So this additional case has got 2 extra counts for theft by taking from a August 29, 2024 incident. We've already heard Mr. Bradley's GCIC. Mr. Pierre Thomas, I think he's already received a $3,500 surety bond, $2,500 on 1 count of theft by taking, and $1,000 on the loitering and prowling. Anything else to add?
Nothing else to add, Your Honor, but the recommendation was, for the original recommendation was, I think, 8,500, 2,000 on each theft by taking, a total of 1,000 on each loitering and prowl, and a 500 on the criminal trespass, I believe.
All right. Mr. Cook, do you have anything to add, sir?
Your Honor, he has little or no income. He's looking at that. I think we determined 15,000 in Superior Court.
I think it's with the 10% option, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't see that. So as I understand it, we're taking what we did earlier. The recommendation with the add-on is a total in this court of 8,000 surety. Is that right, Mr. Pierre Thomas?
The state is asking for a total of 8,500 from all these charges.
8,500. I don't know much, it just kind of came upon us. So, my arguments would be the same. He needs a limited amount. Otherwise it's essentially a no bond.
All right. With regards to these additional charges, is on count 1, it's going to be 2,000. Count 2 is going to be 2,000. Count 3 is going to be 500, and count 4 is going to be 500, and that's a total of 5,000. And that's a surety bond. Also, stay away from, was it Georgia Tech property as well? If I can't.
Yes, I would say all Georgia Tech property. The different warrants had 2 separate locations within Georgia Tech, but I say all Georgia Tech is the request.
All right. And who are the alleged victims that you've identified for these 2 cases, for these 2 charges?
One moment, Your Honor.
Because I had Sumit Tuma in the other one.
Absolutely. One moment, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
The first victim on the first count will be, the system's pulling up. It's going to be Tina Vu, Tinavu. And then the second victim is going to be listed as Lina Shen, Linashen.
All right. Ms. Strong, did you get those names?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. Bradley, in your felony case, you've got a surety bond with a 10% option. And I hope your PD counsel has explained what that is. In state court of Fulton County with your misdemeanor cases, you got a total of 8,500 surety bond. Stay away from all Georgia Tech property and not to have any contact with Sunit Tuma, Ms. Tina Vu, and Ms. Lina Shen. Thank you.
Okay,
Your next court date for both these cases is going to be October 17th.
So, ma'am, Your Honor, just before I leave, I just want to clear this up because it's very confusing with all the add-ons and whatnot. So I have one bond for everything for 8,500, or is it 8,500 for one and then the bond that was set yesterday, is that separate? I'm just trying to clarify. Yeah, that's it.
The cases that you have today is a new bond for 8,500 surety bond.
Okay.
The cases that you had yesterday, that's a bond set by Superior Court, and I want to be sure that I'm reading out the correct number. It appears to be for 17, no.
It's 15,000, y'all.
15,000 surety with a 10%.
No. I can actually.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. McCook. I think that was your last case, Mr. Cook.
I think so, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. McLean, who will be addressing at ACDC?
Position 11, Ms. Pritchett.
Right. Ms. Glashanda, do you solemnly swear and affirm the translation you provide will be true and accurate with no embellishments?
I do.
Thank you. This is State versus Wonderlaw Pritchett, charged with simple battery against a police. Okay, she's not looking at the screen, so can you, Miss Pritchett, she needs to be looking at the screen.
Your Honor, she's stating that it's hard to see because the tile is very small on her end.
Okay. She may have to come closer to the monitor.
Put it on view so that when she's do the sign, I made it large, Your Honor, so that she can see when the sign language person comes on.
Okay,
Hold
she's
on.
asking if you can pin the tile that she's pointing to.
Yeah.
Because when I speak, it will highlight me, but when I go silent, it will highlight the judge when the judge is speaking.
Okay,
Will that work?
this is the judge right here, okay?
Ms. Gloshanda, you can unmute.
Go
and-
ahead.
Can she see you now?
Okay, she can see now, Your Honor.
All right. This is State versus Wandala Pritchard, accused of simple battery against a police officer from October 2nd, 2024.
Your Honor, I think the tile changed again. She's saying that she needs it enlarged for the interpreter.
Don't know what to tell you. It's large for me. The only person filling up my screen is you, Ms. Gloshanda. Deputy Milton, is the screen large for our sign interpreter?
It was large, and then all of a sudden it got small.
Mr. Jordan, can you?
Okay, now we good now.
Ms. Pritchard, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your counsel is Mr. McLean.
I understand.
Ms. Gordon?
Your Honor, the defendant has 14 cycles beginning in 1998. The last arrest was May 3rd of 2019 in DeKalb County for probation violation. The underlying charge was aggravated assault. The record indicates a 2016 misdemeanor from DeKalb County for battery family violence, a 2017 misdemeanor conviction from Clayton County for simple assault, a 2018 misdemeanor conviction from Fulton County for simple battery, a 2018 misdemeanor conviction from Fulton County for disorderly conduct. The recommendation was level 3. In closing, a 2014 felony conviction from DeKalb County for aggravated assault. Nothing further to add, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tucker?
The state will be recommending a $2,000 surety bond with a stay away from the Texaco at 2641 Main Street in East Point. That recommendation is based on the history. You did hear there is an extensive history of violence. I also noted 2 FTAs, one out of 2018, one out of 2015. And these facts allege that this defendant was loitering at this Texaco when officers came, approached, and tried to pour out her alcoholic beverage. She struck him in the upper leg. She continued to be combative of spitting on him and kicking him. So for those reasons, we're asking for a $2,000 surety bond with that stay away.
Ms. Gloshanda, can you confirm that she understood what you were signing?
Confirming, she's nodding, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, despite the Newark, New Jersey birthplace, she is quite a local person as an adult now in the Atlanta metro area. frankly, she's expressed regret and remorse about the spitting and kicking business. I know this is not the trial. I mentioned to her that it might be wise, since she is homeless now, to just stay out of East Point entirely. That, of course, does not solve the problem of what she's accused of, behavior, but I think that would be wise. Her income is a disability check because of her deaf condition. And we would ask the court to consider a signature bond or a lower surety bond if possible.
Thank you. Bond is set at 500. It is a surety bond to stay away from the incident location. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no firearms. And her next court date is October 17th.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount again? I apologize.
500.
Thank you.
That concludes the case.
Whoa. Whoa.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Gloshanda.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We might need you again on October 17th. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Who do we have courtroom 2?
This is going to be position number 17, Mr. Wolf.
This is State versus Stephen Wolf. Mr. Wolf's case is 24 CR 6843E. Mr. Wolf, can you push your hair back so we can see you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. And Mr. Stephen Wolf is accused of unlawful conduct during a 911 call and using telephone communications for obscene, threatening, or harassing purposes. Count 1 is from October 3rd of 2024. Count 2 is from October 1st, 2024. Mr. Wolf, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. McLean. Any priors, Ms. Gordon?
Your Honor, the defendant has 4 cycles beginning in 2009 with multi-state interaction from the state of Mississippi. Last arrest was April 25th of this year from Cobb County for unlawful conduct during 911 call. Contact 911 for purpose of annoy, harass 911 officer, or interfere with disrupt emergency phone call. That charge was null prost June 28th of this year. There's an open case out of Canton, Mississippi, with an arrest date of July 2nd of 2022, simple domestic violence, a 2024 misdemeanor conviction out of Cobb County, January of this year for willful obstruction of law enforcement officer and criminal trespass. The recommendation was level 3, nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we would be asking for $1,000 good bond on each of these charges. I also have recommended this case to our MH court. I don't know if the defendant lives in the county, but otherwise, I think based on these facts, he would qualify as well as his history. You did hear he has a prior of this exact same charges. He made 4 continuous 911 calls, cursed, made hate speech, made off-color comments about the call takers, and eventually threatened to shoot a MARTA police officer, all while on these calls. So we would be asking for that $2,000 total good bond, and we will have him evaluated for MHC moving forward.
Mr. McLean? Mr. Michael McLean? Oh dear. There.
Well, I'm sorry. There
That's okay.
we go.
Were you able to hear
Back
everything
on.
that's transpired?
Yes, every
Okay.
word.
All right. The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond.
We agree with the state that we hope he gets into, that he's eligible for mental health court. Your Honor, we have tried to get hold of his dad unsuccessfully. His dad is involved in his life, and we think that will help. We'll assign a social worker to help him navigate the legal system to some extent, even if he doesn't get into mental health court. But I think that would be the best solution. I need to look at another piece of paper real quick if the court will indulge me. Your Honor, he has an education level above high school. He went to Chattahoochee school and got an industrial trade training. So he has a very good livelihood possibility there. He has lived in Atlanta his adult life, and I believe all his life, actually. He has a brother and a sister that I'm also trying to get hold of, and we hope to address this problem. For those reasons, we'd ask the court to consider a signature bond or a lower surety bond.
On each count, it's going to be $1,000. It's a total of a $2,000 surety bond. Next court date is October 17th. No further calls to 911 unless it's a bona fide and valid emergency that is not false or harassing. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And his next court date is the 17th of October. Thank you.
You don't see. You go see. Next, Your Honor, we're going to position number 10, Mr. Porter.
This is State versus Charles Porter III, accused of battery from October 3rd, 2024. His case number is 24 CR 6850B. Mr. Porter, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and to counsel, and your attorney is Mr. McLean. Ms. Gordon?
Your Honor, the defendant has 5 cycles beginning in 2010. Last arrest was December 21st of 2020 from DeKalb County for simple battery and criminal trespass. The criminal trespass was null prost. June 7th of 2022, simple battery received 12 months probation. Nothing further to add, Your Honor.
Your Honor, extremely brief facts of the case is that
Yes,
on
sir.
October 3rd, 2024, the defendant grabbed the victim being Sonia Stevens, traditional spelling SONYASTEPHENS, around the neck several times, causing bruising to her neck. If we could sound for the victim in accordance with Marcy's law, as our office has not been able to get in contact with her, that'd be greatly appreciated. Your Honor, the request from the state is a $1,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from that MARTA location, which is that College Park MARTA location, located at 3800 East Main Street in College Park in Fulton County, Georgia. No contact with the victim and the completion of an anger awareness course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
Miss Sonia Stevens, if you want to chime in, this will be the time to start your video and unmute. I see someone with the letter S on their screen, but I don't know who that is. All right, Mr. McLean, anything to add?
Your Honor, he does receive services from Grady and will continue to do so. And he asked the court to consider a signature bond or a small, really $1,000 surety bond would be small, given the circumstances of the case. We do have good phone numbers for him. We have his medical provider, and we'll make sure that he is back in touch with them.
A bond is going to be set at $1,500. It is a surety bond. Next court date is October 17th. no further contact with Sonia Stevens, and to stay away from all Marta property until further order of the court. Next, we will see him on October 17th. Thank you.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount again? I apologize.
1,500, 1,500, surety.
Thank you. Can I ask a question? You can ask for anything.
Your Honor, I need, for the 5 point, I had to have that transportation, not 5 points, I'm sorry, College Park. I need that transportation to take me to work and back, cause that's how I get to work. Cause I'm in College Park, and I have to take the train from College Park to North Avenue, which I had to take the 50 from North Avenue to Bankhead, then the same 50 goes to Sandy Springs, which is the UPS. So that's my only transportation from and to work.
Unfortunately, because of this, he already probably suspended from Marta, so I'm going to keep the suspension in place. Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position 18, Mr. Spencer Wright.
This is 24 CR 6845Y. Mr. Spencer Wright's accused of battery family violence from October 2nd, 2024. Mr. Wright, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. McLean. Ms. Gordon, any price?
Defendant has 28 cycles beginning in 2009. Last arrest was August 27th of this year from Jackson County, Georgia, on a probation violation. The underlying charge was not listed. Misdemeanor conviction in 2017 from Fulton County, theft by taking, 2019 from Atlanta, driving without a valid license, and 2023 out of Jackson County, Georgia, 4th degree forgery. Nothing further to add, Your Honor.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, the state will be asking for a 2,500 surety bond. That's based on the history. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, failed to mention I have noted 2 FTAs out of 2022, and 5 FTAs total, going all the way back to 2011. These facts are that the officer was just walking to work and noticed this defendant dragging the victim, punching her in the face. He had to rush to her side to help. So this wasn't a 911 call, meaning that this victim couldn't speak up for herself. It's up to us today to stand up to this defendant and let him know that this behavior is not all right. She did have cuts and marks all over her face, and did let the officer know that it was the defendant that beat her. So we're asking for that $2,500 good bond with condition no further contact with Fakia Wright. That's FAKIYA Wright, who is the spouse of the defendant. And because this was in the street, there's no stay away.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, he currently housed with In-Town Outreach Ministries. Ms. Knowles may be observing our Zoom today. Didn't think necessarily that she needs to contribute unless she wants to, but he does have a stable place to live at the time. At this time, he states that he has an upcoming legal case in which it is sought to evict someone who was in his, I think it was his former housing or something, and that's an important legal case to him. He's not being accused in that case of anything, and he'd like to get out. He's also mentioned a death, but because it was today that we interview him, of course, we prefer to document the allegations about death in the family before suing, using that as a reason for asking for the bond to be modified. So let me just ask for the bond to be $1,000 surety bond or a signature bond. Other reasons are that he does need to go, and he does have stable court. Mr. Wright, I see your hand is up. I advise you as your legal advisor for today, do not speak in court today. Thank you.
All right. Is Ms. Pakia Wright on the Zoom? I don't think so. Okay.
Hi,
Mr. Wright?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, yes, Ms. Knowles, are you?
I am a social worker with In Town Cares, which is the nonprofit that the attorney mentioned, who's providing the housing for Mr. Wright. I'm the social worker for his wife, Fakia, as well. I just wanted to confirm that Mr. Wright does have a hearing in housing court in a couple of weeks because of squatters who got into his apartment and are being evicted. So he hasn't done anything wrong in that eviction case, but does need to be present. And I
Is
believe
there a
that is
way-
on the 24th.
And is that in magistrate court?
Yes, in Fulton County.
All right. Is there a way that his wife can reach out to the court and let them know that he's presently in jail?
It's possible. I spoke with her yesterday. I went by her apartment today and wasn't able to reach her, but I could ask her to do that, yes.
Okay, that was what you'll need to do. On the battery charge, his bond is going to be set at $1,500. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Fakia Wright. He won't be able to stay in the same house with her. Yes, sir.
Miss, Yana, I'm in a position right now.
Mr.
Man, I'm just in a position right now where I'm going through a lot right now in my life right now, man.
Understood.
I understand it. I understand the allegations towards me. I understand it. What I'm saying is it wasn't no blood, it wasn't no bruises, it wasn't none of this, man. I was trying to just tell my wife to stay out the street. Well, where we located right now, or where we hang out at.
Advise you to be quiet in court. Thank you.
So it's okay to drag a woman and punch her in the face as long as there's no blood, it's okay?
No, man, no, I'm never saying that.
Then what are you saying? Because your attorney has already told you to not say anything. And yet I'm reading the warrant where a officer saw you allegedly dragging a woman, punching her.
Okay, listen, the only reason that man put that charge on me, I'm just asking for a signature bond, man, so I can
You
see.
do not get a signature bond. I should make this a cash bond because you just said that as long as there's no blood, it's okay.
I never hit a woman in my life, Ms. Lair. I'm just trying to.
According to the officer, you did. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's why your attorney tells you to be quiet. Because you just stepped in it really, really badly.
I didn't.
$1,500 surety. Miss Knowles, please let Miss Wright know she'll need to take care of that eviction case. Because he is in no position to be anywhere near her. Next court date is October 17th. Next case, please.
Next is going to be position number 12, Mr. Ronnie Shaw.
Mr. Ronnie Shaw is accused of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer from October 3rd, case number 24 CR 6836F. Mr. Shaw, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. McLean. Any priors, Ms. Gordon?
Your Honor, the defendant has 2 cycles beginning in 2013 with multi-state interaction from the state of North Carolina and the District of Columbia. Last arrest was January 31st of 2020 from Winston-Salem, North Carolina for exploit, disable elder trust, obtain property, false pretense, and false conspiracy. Those charges resulted in a misdemeanor for the charge of larceny by trick, TRICK, 12 months probation, 40 days confinement. January 20th of 2023, the recommendation was level 2. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, the state is recommending a $1,000 signature bond in this case. and no stay away. It's my understanding it's at his job. The officers came with a warrant, so they were legally, lawfully allowed to be there, and this defendant just did not answer the door. Based on the lack of public safety threat, though, we are going to ask for a $1,000 signature bond.
Mr. McLean, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Mr. Shaw, this is still an open active case. Please make sure that you keep up with your court notices. Thank you.
No objection.
Next case, please.
Thank you. Your Honor, next is position 13. Well, I mean, that's a Arabic interpreter, but you can.
Mr. Faisal Sulaiman. Mr. Sulaiman, do you understand a little English?
Understand English and Arabic. Arabic language.
I need to get an Arabic interpreter for you, and we will address your case tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yes, tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. case tomorrow.
Yes.
Finish or continue?
Yeah, you finish.
No. Finish for now. We will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m.
See me tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Correct. With an interpreter.
Okay.
Good job.
Mr. Jordan, we just need to make sure we get an Arabic interpreter, even if it's language line. All right. Any other cases, Deputy? All right. No? All right. In that case, position number 1, Amador is a $1,200 signature bond through the jail.
Your Honor, I have 2 cases that were not addressed. I don't know if they bonded out.
Yeah, that's why I was going to go down and just.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry.
My apologies, Your Honor. Position number 6 waived.
Okay.
And also position number 9 waived.
All right. Are those your cases, Mr. McLean?
Well, let's see. I don't have the position numbers. Who's 6?
They're
Michael-
Mr. Cook's cases.
Mr. Cook's
Sorry?
case.
They're my cases, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Cook, are you ready to address the waiver cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So Michael first is 24 CR 6852E, accused of theft by receiving stolen property and willful obstruction. His presence has been waived. And Ms. Gordon, any priors?
Your Honor, the defendant has 6 cycles beginning in 2016. Last arrest was May 12th of 2022 from Atlanta for 2 counts of theft by taking. Those charges are in judicial hold with Judge Krause under 24 SC 002523. There's a second case that's in judicial hold as well to Judge Krause, 23 SC 189104, fleeing and attempting to elude, driving within a gore, driving while license suspended or revoked, obstruction of law enforcement officer, driving, hit and run. Recommendation was level 2. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that on October 3rd, 2024, the officers were patrolling Old National Highway. They got a hit on a black car, a 2014 Honda Sonata with a Georgia's license plate. That hit came back to a 1983 Chevy C10. When they made the U-turn to attempt to make contact with the 3 black males were standing outside.
The trash can is wet.
One of the 3 black males being the defendant. Your Honor, the officer made contact with the defendant. As he was making contact with the defendant was the one that locked the doors to the vehicle. The officer asked the defendant to give him his ID. The defendant gave the ID and attempted to walk away. He told him to stop. He continued to walk away. He continued to give him notice that he should stop. He continued to reach for things in his hand and walk away. The review of the license showed that the defendant had 4 failure to appears, a search incident to a search of the vehicle, an inventory search of the vehicle recovered 20.88 grams of suspected marijuana and a Glock 443 firearm, which is concerning because he's a convicted felon. We have notified the DA's office of this and attempted to transfer, Your Honor. The request from the state, Your Honor, is a split bond, a $1,500 surety bond. That would be $1,000 on the theft by receiving and $500 on the willful obstruction, and a signature bond through the jail on the marijuana charge. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no contact with the victim. In this case, the victim is the person who owned the license plate. That is the subject of the theft. Tiara, Tiarabetts, Betts. If we could sign for her in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, but there's nothing further to add from the state at this time.
Did we add the marijuana charge? I've only got 2 counts. Did
I
y'all
do-
NOD the marijuana?
No, I see that it's now been given. I think the last time I checked, it was given a CR number. I can double check.
No, it's there now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so there's a misdemeanor possession of marijuana as well. Mr. Cook, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the charges. It's a theft by receiving a license plate and the misdemeanor obstruction. We would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. Nothing further.
On the theft by receiving and the willful obstruction is going to be 500 each. The total bond is going to be 1,000. It's a surety bond. Next court date is going to be October 17. However, he can't bond out. He does have those judicial holds in Superior Court. Next position
And
is.
I think you need to address the marijuana. So are you doing
I'm sorry. It's fine.
the jail
Yeah.
as requested?
Yeah, so sorry. I'm still reading off the calendar. It's a 500 on that, so it's a 1,500 surety.
Where is the possession of marijuana?
It's on the Odyssey screen now. It's not on the calendar.
Okay, and was there no further contact with this position as well?
Yeah. What was the name again, Mr.
Tiara Bates.
Tiara Banks. Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the bond on the possession?
All 500 each.
Okay, thank you.
Surety. And next case is Danielle Mack, 24 CR 6842C, accused of giving false information to an officer, expired or no license plate, and driving while license suspended or revoked from July 9th, 2024. Before we proceed, Mr. Thomas, let me just check and see whether there are any additional charges. There aren't, are there? No? Okay. Appearance has been waived in this case, and there are 3 charges. Ms. Gordon, any priors?
Your Honor, the defendant has 15 cycles beginning in 2010 with multi-state interaction from the states of Texas and South Carolina. Last arrest was May 7th of this year from Fulton County on an FTA. The underlying charge was not listed. Record indicates misdemeanor conviction out of the state of South Carolina for 2014 failed to stop for blue light, 2018 driving under suspension, 2019 DUI, and 2023 driving under suspension. Misdemeanor conviction from state of Georgia, a 2020 disorderly conduct, and a 2024 giving false name, as well as driving while license suspended or revoked. 2 open cases to Judge Dixon. The first one is a 23 CR 000932C for simple battery. The other 24 CR 001958C, willful obstruction and theft by receiving stolen property. 2 warrants out of Orangeburg, South Carolina. The first is for an assault case, date of the warrant April 26th of 2023. The other case is aggravated assault police officer weapon. That's the way it's listed on the GCIC. Date of the warrant November 27th of 2023. The recommendation was level 3. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, extremely brief facts of the case. That the case itself is straightforward. He gave a false name and a false date of birth to the officer when he was pulled over at a traffic stop. The license plate was expired, and just like his other cases, he was driving on a suspended license. He's a multi-state offender for the charge of driving under a suspended license. Your Honor, given that history, Your Honor, the request from the state is a $1,500 surety bond. The breakdown is as followed: $250 on count 1, $250 on count 2, and $1,000 on count 3. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and obviously no driving without a valid license. There is nothing further to add from the state at this time, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Cook, any comeback on that?
Well, it is, we understand the background and the other charges, but given the nature of these charges, my client isn't employed, so he has no income. So on these charges, we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
All right. On the I'm looking at his two other open cases. Okay, I'm going to go with the state's recommendation: 250 on giving false information, 250 on expired or no license plate, and 1,000 on driving while license suspended or revoked. Total bond is a 1,500 surety. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. And his next court date is going to be October 17th. Ms. Strong, he has two other cases with state court. I think you see them on Odyssey. Would you like the numbers or?
Sure.
23 CR 000932C, 24 CR 001958C. All three cases are going to be reset to SAP on October 17th.
And Your Honor, if I didn't mention it, position 19 bonded out.
Oh, no, you didn't, but I'm glad you told us. Thank you. All right, so she's also posted bond, and that's going to be further notice. Thank you, sir.
Judge, can you give me the conditions on position number 1 when you go through the calendar again?
Sure. On Amador Carcamo, the bond is 1,200 signature bond through the jail, and to stay away from 13165 Freemanville, I can't remember, road in Alpharetta, Georgia. Is that what you wanted?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Your Honor, may I inquire of a courtroom too?
Yes, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Officer Norris, who did you say just did bonded?
Position 19.
Okay, okay,
Chao
thank you.
Ju Yang. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Position number 2, Lorenzo Bradley, is a 3,500 surety bond, reset to October 17th. And with Mr. Bradley's add-on case, that's a total of a $5,000 surety bond, reset date October 17th. Position 3, Breland, is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 4, Edwards is a 6,500 surety bond, reset October 17th. 5, Adira Harris is a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 with a DBIP requirement and 1 parenting class. 6, Michael Hurst is a $1,500 surety, reset October 17th. 7, Delshawn Jackson is a $5,000 surety, reset date October 17th. 8, Yan Lee, posted bond at $10,000 with a stay away from 1050 Hammond Drive. So her case is going to be further noticed. Daniel Mack is a $1,500 surety bond, reset October 17th. 10, Porter III is going to be a $1,500 surety bond, and further notice to October 17th. Position 11, Pritchard, is a $500 surety, reset October 17th. 12, Shaw is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. 13, Sulaiman is reset to October 5th at 2 p.m. for an Arabic interpreter. No Riverside issues. 14, Taylor is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 15, Aaron Thomas is a $2,000 surety bond, reset October 17th. 16, Wary is a $2,500 surety bond, reset October 17th.
I apologize, Judge. What did you say position number 15 was?
15, Aaron Thomas was a $2,000 surety,
Oh, okay, thank you.
and stay away from auto, and reset October 17. Did you get 16, 2,500 surety?
Yes, ma'am. I think I heard 15 on the other one, so I was confused, but I have it. Thank you.
Okay. 17, Wolf is a $2,000 surety, reset date October 17. 18, Bright is a 1,500 surety, reset October 17. And 19, Chao Ju Yang, posted bond, and that's further notice for trial. All right, folks, I think that concludes our calendar for this afternoon.
Oh, Your Honor, on Lee, last name L.I.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to leave the misimpression. My understanding was the bond was being made or was about to be made, not that it had been made.
just 1 second.
I don't have any doubt it will be because it's
Still
just
in custody, so there's no indication the bond has been posted yet.
right. But I didn't mean to say, if I did, that it has been, is going to be made or is being made. The person making it, well, the court may note that it's just like 19 in terms of the amount and the charges. They would have been in conflict had the other person been in court, and we would have gotten a conflict defender, but that person bonded out anyway. So I had no doubt when the person said my bond's being made, I didn't need to get more detail about how far along the process it was.
Mike, do you need the court to consider the bond here now, or in case they don't make?
I will.
We already have the bond. I thought
I
it was
can check.
2,000.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
We
I
know the
don't
bond
even
amount
have
is.
I don't even have the defendant anymore. So,
Right.
and we've not waived her appearance. So if y'all are
I
not
can do.
happy,
I have her permission to do the waiver. We didn't intend to be in court today. So I can sign the waiver and send it in.
Well, if she's still around tomorrow, could she be put on? I mean, neither one of us will be working, but
Terry, she has no doubt she's making the bond. So
okay.
that's why I asked her. We went to a long conversation about waivers and their advantages and disadvantages.
Mr. McLean, I'm going to stay with the $10,000 bond as initially represented, and we're going to keep it at that.
Famous last words, no doubt. Right? Okay.
Okay. All right, y'all. Enjoy your Friday, and I will see you next week. Take care.
Nice to see you.
Everybody be safe. Thank you.
Pierre Thomas.
Be safe, Mr. Thomas.
Good to see you, Miss Gordon. Take care.
Always, Judge.
Y'all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.